Luka Doncic runs riot, Maccabi gives CSKA a shock, and there's lots more in store in round 14 this week in EuroLeague. All on Sweet 16. Tune in.
Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of Sweet 16, an open look on EuroLeague basketball. As always, with my great and beloved co-host, we're with Emmett Ryan from Ball in Europe and with Aris Barkas from EuroHOOPS. Hi guys!
Hi Moshe, from here in Dublin where I am still in my dressing gown. It's that early here.
Hello also from Athens, guys. Here it's not that early, but after back-to-back games and with Giannis facing LeBron, it was hard to get some sleep.
Today's show is kind of special in a way because, whenever you get a chance to play back-to-back games, it means that there is almost no time to think of strategies and to act accordingly. The only thing you can do while preparing to back-to-back games is pretty much work on the execution and pay attention to the little details, the smallest details. And I think that Emmett will agree with me. And just because of that, there's no coach's playbook nor notebook today, but simply the games of the week.
Yeah, it's been quite a week, I think it's fair to say. We got a couple of things right, many things wrong, although I think we were qualified in how we were wrong, so we're only going to get through all those. And there are some absolute crackers ahead in round 14, so we're just going to dive right in.
If you had an open look, one shot, would you swish it, wish it, or go fish it? 16 teams, gonna be sweet. Sweet 16.
4 minutes to get through all the action that just happened in EuroLeague. It's the 4-minute warning. We're going to have a quick look back initially at the games that stood out from round 13 before getting right into round 14. And I suppose the one we've got to start on, even though it was one of the last games played this week, was the one we all got badly wrong in terms of the nature of the game. Maccabi really running CSKA close. Moshe, I know you're at this game. How did Maccabi manage to make not only a game of this, but really beat up CSKA early?
Well, first, we got to acknowledge the fact that prior to the game itself, when we recorded the show, it was unknown that both Milos and Nando De Colo will be absent from this game. But from what I'm told, first, Nando is not 100%, so he's not going to come back, maybe not even to this game versus Fener. And basically, Maccabi were almost also missing Mike Zerbs and Joe Alexander, who was out, is going to be out for the next couple of weeks at least. The game for itself, it was a high-energy game. Maccabi started very strong. Iverson, Goodluck, all the guys we were expecting to come, they came and they came big. The problem is, when you're playing against the reigning champs and you're up by 18, that means you got them on their knees. The only thing you need to do to go for the kill, so to speak, you just keep playing intense for 30 minutes, for another 30 minutes. This is the most respectful thing to do. This is how you respect the reigning champs. You don't go and you change the lineup when you're up by 18, simply for conveniency. You have to push hard, because we've seen this great CSKA, even without De Colo, even without Milos, we've seen them come back from a double-digit deficit. They did it once, and obviously they did it once again last night. And I gotta tell you, by now, the way that they look, it is simply remarkable. It's simply amazing. And you know what, guys, that is a game that even without two of their biggest stars, when they got to fight, and they got to fight from Maccabi Tel Aviv, they got a serious fight. They got more than they could ask for. They got more than they bargained for. And you know what? Maccabi heading out to Darussafaka right now, I'd say David Blatt's got a lot of concerns on his head.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Darussafaka, Aris, they had a fight of a different kind against Fenerbahce, I think it's fair to say. We're going to ask you about that for certain to start off with. But a big win for David Blatt. So first of all, for anyone who didn't see what happened, tell them what happened in that Darussafaka Fenerbahce game in terms of the fisticuffs, so to speak. And what was your own take on the actual result?
We had a headbutt that resulted to Adrian Merman's ejection, who was not part of the alternation between Bobby Dixon and also Scotty Wilbekin, who, by the way, had his best game yet in the EuroLeague. We had also a strange incident with Jan Vesely, arguably trying to take the call and maybe flop. The point is that Darussafaka proved that they could stand their ground against Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce was from one point of the game and after trailing against the team of David Blatt, and it will be very interesting to see how they will react after that, because now Fenerbahce is tied with Panathinaikos. They are behind the second place. They are at 8 wins, and if they want to keep up and stay among the top 4 in order to have the home court advantage, they have to step up on their games. Of course, Bogdan Bogdanovic will return around this time, and this may be enough for them to turn around things, but the game against Darusafaka and the way the backcourt of Darusafaka played, especially with Wilbekin, and on the other hand, the way Will Clyburn shocked the front line of Fenerbahce maybe is a pattern that anyone should follow in order to beat Fenerbahce. I believe that the key was both the audacity of Wilbekin, but also the fact that a player who really doesn't have a fixed position like Will Clyburn made all the difference in the post.
And the game that really stood out for me in this one was Real Madrid's beatdown, I think it's fair to say, of Bros of Bamberg. On the last show, I had this, and it was a sneaky game of the week, and Luka Doncic probably listened to the episode because he just ran riot. In only 19 minutes on the floor, he went 6 of 11 shooting, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. And the stat line, if anything, doesn't do the kid justice, because there's an argument for player of the week there, really, for the performance or player of the round. Sorry, because of course we got 2 rounds this week. And I think moreover, it's because of the context of this game. Real, of course, are fighting through some injury issues, as everybody is right now. But they just split their last 2 games, hadn't looked amazing in those last 2 games, and were taking on a Bamberg team that was hot, that was confident, that also needed to get this W. And so that wasn't going to be a Bamberg team coming into Madrid, even just to get beaten up. They were a Bamberg team coming in thinking they could win. And at one point, I remember Moshe was messaging me last night, and he goes, like, this is a butchering of a game. And I was kind of going, yep, because the time to score was 60 points to 32. I mean, this is just a comedy show. Well, not a comedy show, sorry, a horror show, because nothing funny about what was happening to Bamberg. But Real, like another performance, I've had a couple of these this year, the Barcelona beatdowns, the other one that jumps out, where when everything goes right, this team is a lot of fun to watch, so long as you're not the team on the receiving end. So that was the one that's out for me, guys.
We got to say at least one sentence about Žalgiris coming back, being resurrected in a way, coming back, especially winning, beating down Anadolu Efes at their home court, giving themselves, another shot at, getting back game after game after game. And, simply what happened with Barcelona, also up by 9 points at the beginning, I think, of the third it was, with 6 minutes, 21 seconds to the end of the third quarter. That's where Baskonia, started their comeback and eventually winning the game. Baskonia is now within, it's not just that they've secured so far, I think, themselves as a contenders, at least for the, coming to the playoffs with home court advantage. They got another great game, which we will discuss later.
Sweet 16, an open look on
EuroLeague basketball.
Covering 16
EuroLeague teams.
Gonna be sweet. Sweet 16.
Looking at the games that are ahead this week, it is another busy week because, of course, it's a double round week. And so, Moshe, when it comes to the game you're looking forward to the most in the next 2 nights, it's only 2 nights and it's beginning in a few hours. What's jumping out to you on the cards? You got so many good games here. I'm going to hazard a guess, though. It's the David Blatt Bowl might be the game you're most excited about.
If we had to script down the games this week, we could have done a better job. We're getting a lot of numerous retaliations in a way. We're getting Olympiacos at Bamberg, which means Bamberg, because of them, in my opinion, Olympiacos didn't make it to the playoffs last year. We're getting Panathinaikos Baskonia, with Baskonia dominating Panathinaikos last year to get their spot in the playoff, to the Final Four. We're getting Fener Ceska, which was the finals game, and we're getting the Battle of the Axes, obviously, with David Blatt and Maccabi Tel Aviv. So like I said, we couldn't have asked for a better lineup of games. And for me, you know what? It's like I said, obviously Maccabi Tel Aviv, we're getting so much interesting angles. If we're talking with Bagatskis, who was on the bench with David Blatt coming to Tel Aviv, we're getting pretty much, I don't know, it's these two teams have met before. So we're getting two very good perimeter teams going at each other. Maccabi, if they're going to play the way they've played last night in the first 10 minutes of the game, and they're going to create themselves a nice lead, I don't think that Darush Shafaka have the capability or the mental toughness to come back from such a devastating opening. But again, it's David Blatt, so it means that his team is supposed to be very very tough mentally. All the reasons why to watch this game. And Aris, I would really like to hear what's your thoughts on this game and obviously on your game of the week.
I really don't think that, aside from the fact that David Blatt is playing against his old team, this is a really important game in the big picture. No disrespect to Maccabi, but they are by far the underdog in this game, and I don't see how Darussafaka, after winning Fenerbahce, they might let this game slip out of their hands. Just at the moment that they are getting again some momentum in the league. I believe that one of the key games of this night, because there is no easy game at all in this year's EuroLeague, is the game of Panathinaikos against Baskonia. It's a very important game both for Baskonia and Panathinaikos. Panathinaikos wants the home win in order to continue the resurrection of the club under coach Pascual, and Baskonia, if they can get that kind of a road win, they can secure what you said before, being at least in the contention for a home court advantage in the playoffs. Of course, the biggest game of the week is by far CSKA versus Fenerbahce. It goes without question, and we don't know what the lineup of CSKA will be. I will not be surprised if both Nando De Colo and Milos Theodosis play in this game. And I'm also very keen to see what will be the reaction of Barcelona against Milano, because both teams had high ambition at the start of the season. Milano is now at 4 wins, Barcelona is at 5 wins, and they both don't have the luxury to drop any more games. As for the game that might be interesting and not really expect much of it, it may be the contest between Bamberg and Olympiacos. Olympiacos have never won on the road against Bamberg. It's a very interesting detail for this game, and with the momentum that the Reds they have, even without Daniel Hackett, who is missing the rest of the season, and even without Giorgos Printezis, it will be interesting to see how they react, especially now that they are tied with Baskonia and Real Madrid in the second spot of the standings. Still, the most important game of this week, it's CSKA versus Fenerbahce, and I believe that the second most interesting game in terms of the standings is Panathinaikos hosting Baskonia. I wouldn't be surprised if with Real Madrid getting probably the win even on the road against Crvena Zvezda, if Real is left alone second with 10 wins, and we will have again a long jump at 9 wins with a 4-way tie between Olympiacos, Baskonia, Panathinaikos, and even Fenerbahce, if they manage somehow to beat CSKA. The fact that so far we are almost at the half of the season, and there are so many playoffs contenders, so many teams still hoping to make it to the playoffs, proves that you can never expect what will go down in any court, and anything at this point is possible for anyone.
And just to back up what Aris is saying, I was looking at the results last night as in the overall standings, and the worst record after 13 rounds is 4-9, which, while still bad, when that's your worst record in the league, that's actually quite strong, because to have no teams in double-digit losses by now is actually quite a surprise, I think, for most pundits. And also, another thing on what Aris has brought up, the Cesca Fenerbahce game and the Panathinaikos Baskonia games. If you're not going out on the 23rd for a few festive beverages, it's a pretty good way to stay in, because 6 p.m. CET and then 8:15 CET back-to-back those games. I'm just going to have a quick word about one game, guys, that I think is we all actually missed in our previews, purely because of its minor implications. Zalgiris versus Unix Kazan. Zalgiris, obviously, as Moshe mentioned, huge win on the road at Efes. If they beat Unix, and assuming Efes don't, get the W that they need this week against Gala, not a guarantee at all, but a possibility, Zalgiris go into the playoff spots, which would be quite something after 14 rounds. So Sarunas Jaskevicius is already sneakily on course, I think, for Coach of the Year in EuroLeague for just what he's done with this, in terms of names on paper, weak Zalgiris roster, but he's been able to do with them as a team, as a unit, in terms of just pounding out results when he absolutely had to. It's really hard to look past his performance really on the sideline this year. He's just been fantastic. And I don't think I really had Saras doing this well with this side. In fact, I think I had Saras coming second to last or last. So, sorry, Chief. So for me, that Zalgiris Unix game, it's at 7 p.m. CET tonight. Possibly a sneaky good one.
We're going to have one more go at the Cesca Fener game, simply for the fact that if we're looking, roster-wise and strategies pretty much for that game, we knew that even in the Final Four, in the finals game, the team's front court is going to have a major role in this game. And after seeing Cesca play last night, it's obvious that, Joel Freeland needs more time. And it means that Kyle Hines with Augustine versus right now Epiodu and of course Jan Vesely. It looks like it's the battle of fatigue in a way, because all the both teams' front court looks a bit tired, and especially after a beatdown from in both games, for them it's going to be something to pay attention to. And I think that's pretty much for today. So first, I'm gonna wish everyone here on this panel, to my great co-hosts, to Ahmed, and obviously to Aris, which is also a great friend of mine, just like Ahmed. Guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and let's enjoy the EuroLeague games we have for today.
Absolutely, and a happy Festivus as well to those of you who celebrate Festivus. I do back here in Dublin. And, it's the airing of the grievances shall happen. You can, of course, find me at BIE_basketball and Facebook.com/Ball in Europe. And have a safe, happy holidays, whatever way you celebrate.
Yes, let's use the political correct term and wish to everyone happy holidays, no matter what they are celebrating.
That's true, that's happy holidays. You can find me on Twitter, MosesB1. I am Team Scout, and on Facebook, obviously Team Scout. EuroHoops.net. Aris Barkas, sorry. Aris, your Twitter account.
You can find me also at Barkas. You can also find me on Facebook. You can find EuroHoops, I hope, easily on all social media, and you can also follow me on Cosmote TV.
Follow Sweet 16, subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, and obviously YouTube. That's it for today, guys. Have a great day, afternoon, holidays. Till next time.
If you had an open look, one shot, would you swish it, wish it, or go fish it? 16 teams, gonna be sweet. Sweet 16.